I hope you're having an amazing day. So today we're gonna talk about the second lecture related to Salesforce Platform App Builder certification. So what we're gonna do today, we're gonna start looking at the Trailhead, right? I'll be covering content from Trailhead, and then I'll do the hands-on at the same time, right? Because it's easy rather than creating PowerPoint. I'm not a big fan of PowerPoint, to be honest, because Trailhead has everything organized in a very nice and easy way. So why bother wasting time the PowerPoint instead I can demonstrate, right? Okay, so I will put the link to this page in the description below. So what we're gonna do, right? So we're gonna talk about Lightning experience customization today, and I'm gonna talk a brief about Salesforce as well. If you don't know what Salesforce is all about, if you haven't watched my previous episode, I'll highly encourage you to watch that out, because in my last episode I talked about exam guide and the study material, and then how to register an org, because you need to have an org, right? Because it's very important that you do hands-on, right? Please do not go and attempt this certification without doing hands-on. I can't emphasize enough, right? You will not pass. I mean, I'll be very blunt about it, right? If you do not know hands-on, then please don't take it, right? It's a waste of time. Right, okay, so the first thing first, right? You need to log into your org, right? So the way I've already logged into my org. So I hope if you have followed along in my previous episode, you would have registered for an org. If not, I would highly encourage you to stop right now and go and register for an org first, right? Before we jump into this course, right? So I've registered my org and I've logged into my org. So we're gonna create a scenario, right? So because this is when you register for an org, you need to often give the company name. So I've named it as a Wilson Brewery. So with an assumption that it's a brewing company, right? We make beers, the nice beers in Wellington. It's a fictitious company, right? I live in New Zealand, so I'm giving a story from a New Zealand perspective. You can relate to whichever country you're from, right? Nice and easy, right? Okay, so today what we're gonna do, so first thing, you need to log into org. When you log into org, you will get to something like this, depending upon the time of the year you're watching this video, right? This is a setup page. You might change a little bit about the home page, but this is it will take you to this page, right? When you log in for the first time, this is where we're gonna spend some time today, right? In fact, most of the time, right? So let's get started. So let me take you to this Salesforce Trailhead for App Builder. So we're gonna look at Lightning experience customization, right? So we're gonna look at set up your org. So I just gonna give you an overview glance what they've done. So they talked about custom object and custom fields, right? So what we're gonna do, we're gonna do the same. So before I talk anything about custom object, I wanted to mention that Salesforce, first of all, right? Salesforce, you might wonder what is a Salesforce? It's a CRM, right? A customer relationship management software. The #1 software on the planet. We have different software, like Microsoft has their own, Oracle has their own, right? So, but since the focus of attention is Salesforce, it's quite popular, especially in ANZ, and I presume it's quite popular in Singapore as well, and UK, and probably United States, and plus in Asia as well, right? Okay, so you can see that it's a $1 billion companies, over 20-30 billion dollar worth. So Salesforce is investing a lot of resource and energy to make the product great, right? So that people can have a better experience. So why do we need a Salesforce, right? At first place, right? Think about a scenario, right? So I'm a brewing company, right? So I'm a brewing company. I own a brewing company, for instance, right? And I got a sales team, and I got a marketing team, and I got a brewing team, or whatever team, right? So let's say we make 10 beers a day, 10 beers, 10 kinds of beers, right? Manufacture 10 kinds of beers a month, or right? So that's the roughly we make. And then we decide to market, right? So the marketing team needs to know about the information about the beer, right? So how to market it and campaign and kind of stuff. It's very difficult to maintain all this information in an Excel document, right? Or let's say I developed an in-house software, right? In-house software to maintain information about my products. Let's say information about the porter beer or the lager beer or the pilsner beer or stout or pale ale or Pacific ale or whatever, right? And then the sales team, right? Sales team have access to this beer and they decides the price, which we wanted to sell. But for some reason, finance team do not have access to it. So what did the sales team do? They decides to generate an Excel document out of the in-house custom software and then hand over to marketing team. That's fine. But what if a sales agent decides to go and change the price, right? So the Excel document, he needs to resubmit to the for the finance team so that they get the right live information, rather than an outdated information. So it's very difficult, as you can already start to figure out, right? Too much cumbersome effort, right? They have to get this data from that software and you have to maintain this, and then I can't do analytics on my sales data, right? I wanted to see how what was the performance in the last quarter, so I can't do that, right? It's just like a nightmare. I need to buy extra software. So that's where the Salesforce come in picture. You can do everything at one point, everything in one software, and it's cloud, right? And you can use mobile, right? And it's live information, and it makes the life of my team very easy, right? So that's one of the reasons why Salesforce is very popular. So and it's worth investing in Salesforce. We're talking from Salesforce. There are other CRM as well, but let's stick to Salesforce, right? So when you don't have to install any software when you when you use Salesforce, right? All you need a computer. You can use a laptop, you can use an iPad, you can use a phone, right? You can do all the stuff from anywhere in the planet, right? So you don't have to worry about it, and the data is available online every time. Right? All you need is internet connection, right, and a browser. And if you're using a mobile app, yeah, that will do the job as well, right? So as you can see already, the advantage of Salesforce, right? You don't have to install any software. No cloud team is required because we are not doing any cloud infrastructure here, right? Salesforce maintain everything for you. They hosted most of the services on AWS, and some of them they've done on Azure as well, right? So let's not get into the detail of that stuff for now, right? So as you can see, if you're a user, you don't have to worry about anything except your data, right? And so that's one of the reasons why Salesforce is popular, right? Cool, let's dive in now. Right, so the first thing first, right, as I mentioned, right, when you come here for the first time, you can see a little bit of information about setup, home, and object manager. My apologies if I'm trying to explain a little bit more than what is needed for the course, because my interest is not to get you just certified, but to give you an understanding about how to use this platform, right? Because having a certification is just not good enough if you don't know the nitty-gritty stuff of it, right? Cool. Right, so this is setup, as I mentioned, right? Setup is divided into, you can see mostly fairly into a couple of parts like administration, platform tools, and settings, right? So we're not going to do any user creation at all for now. That's an admin related stuff. But for what we're going to do, as I mentioned yesterday, right? So when you log in for the first time, right? When you register for the first time, you will be given an admin access, right? So you are an admin, right? And you can create another user. You can assign profiles to it, right? And then you can assign roles, right? And then you can control it by using org-wide default settings, right? Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to create an object, right? Now, what is an object, you might wonder, right? So if you're someone who is from a database background, object is more like a table, right? Let's say an account object, contact object, right? And fields are like, the fields, like a columns in a table, right? And the record is like a data inside the table, right? So that's pretty much it's all about. Think about an Excel sheet, right? Excel sheet. Let's say you named an Excel as a contact Excel, right? And in that contact, you have different rows, columns, right? So column heading, right? Say first name, last name, right? Those are called fields. And then you have data like David or Jacob or Marina or Sarah or whatever, right? So those are the records, right? So that's how I hope it's clear, right? Now Salesforce often ship out of box objects. They are called standard objects, right? So The way to look at the standard object, you can look at two ways, right? The first way you can look at using Object Manager. So you can see this is the Object Manager here, the tab, right? Or if you want, you can go here and search under Setup, Object Manager. It will take you to the same page. So, you know, either way, right? So as you can see that these are not custom object, right? Custom object means something which you create, right? Which is not being given to out of box, right? Account is an out of box. That's why there's no custom checkboxes here, and you can't delete a custom object, right? So, like for instance, beer log is a custom object. I can go and delete it, but you can see there is no option to delete it, right? So why do we need a custom object in the first place, right? Sometimes, you know, a lot of things Salesforce gives you out of box, which is great, but at times, Salesforce do not give you the stuff that you need. Like we're gonna create a scenario, right? So my company, right, Wilson Brewery, a fictitious company. So what we do every Friday, we do hui, right? In New Zealand, we do hui. I get together with the team to talk about how's your week been, and you know, we have a couple of beers, right? So what I want to do, I wanted to track the kind of beers employees drink on Friday, and number of beers to drink, right? For the sake of simplicity, let's assume that a person is decided, you know, you give only one choice of beer to a person on a Friday afternoon. Let's say I go to, let's say, Jacob and say, like, Jacob, what's your style of beer you're going to prefer to drink this Friday? So Jacob said, look, I want stout, right? Okay, whatever stout, doesn't matter. It should be, the style of beer will be stout, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to record in an object saying, right, okay, Jacob, contact Jacob, the beer type is stout, and number of beers, let's say 5, right? 5 pints. Simple, right? We want that information just for the fun, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to create a custom object for that, right? Because there is no beer, you know, like, let's say hui beer. I'm going to name it as a hui. If you are interested to know about hui, this is something to do with New Zealand, just have a read about it, right? So, okay, right. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna create a custom object. So there are two ways you can create a custom object. One is using Schema Builder, and one is using a crate, right? So this is Schema Builder. So let's do using crate, right? Create custom object, okay? And so you're gonna put the label here. So you're gonna say Beer Friday, right? That's fine because right, beer. And it's a plural, just gonna put an S here. I mean, I don't know if you're from Canada or from the United States, if you have something like, you know, drinking on Friday afternoon at work, because it's very common in New Zealand, perhaps in Australia as well. Okay, so record type name, everything we keep it same, and we want this to be checked, right? Oh, nice and easy. Keep everything checked and launch custom tab, right? And allow search. Keep all this option, right? And we're gonna do save. Nice and easy, and you can give the tab style whatever you want, right? You can just gonna I can just give us factory, whatever, and I'm gonna go next, and default on. So leave everything as default on, right? And so it's gonna include as a tab for all these apps, right? So what I mean by that, you can, if you are an app, right? So I'm gonna talk about apps in a minute, right? So if you do not want, let's say we have different kinds of apps. Apps are a collection of objects, you know, and pages, right? So if you create an app, you can include this object inside an app, right? So you have different apps you can navigate. I'll show you in a minute. So for now, you know, I wanted to keep it activated for everything, right? So not a problem here. And you're gonna click on save, right? Okay, so now object is created, nice and easy, right? And you can look at the fields and relationship here. And so fields are like, as I mentioned, it's like a column, right? And so we have the name, which is by default. And what we're gonna do, we just gonna do edit here, and I do not want this to be a data type as auto number, so Number start with 1. So I want it to be an automated number, generated number, right? Because I don't want it to enter the information here. It's a painful to, every time to enter the information. It depends upon your business requirement though, again, right? So, these are the standard fields, as you can see. You can't delete it, right? So you can modify some of the stuff. And these are the system fields, right? Created by, last modified by. So you can't actually, you can't fiddle with it, right? So, okay. Now, what we're going to do, we need fields, right? What we need, first thing, contact, right? We're going to deal with the contact a little bit later. So I wanted to show you how to create a basic field first, because contact is a little bit interesting. So what we're going to do, so we need date, right? Because, it's good to put a date, right? So which date a person is drinking what beer, right? And then we need a quantity, number, right? And then a type, right? This first thing, you're going to start with date. So how to create a field is pretty easy. So there's a new field here, right? Go to new. And so we're gonna do, so these are the field data types, right? If you're someone who used, data types like, you have checkbox, currency, date, time, right? So what we're gonna need, and then we have email and all kind of stuff, right? And then we have a formula field as well. We're gonna talk about it later, formula stuff. So choose date, right? And then you're gonna go next. And then you say beer date, right? I can put whatever name. Please make sure that the field name is unique. This is an API name, and it's very important because API names plays a very important role. If you're, let's say that you are a developer, right, who use code, so you're gonna access this field, right, of this object using this field name, not using field label. Label, you can put whatever you want, right? You can put a space between the label. You can, let's say I'm gonna put, beer day, but field name has to be unique, right? Cool. And if you wanted to make this field mandatory, right, I'm gonna put as always required. That means it will enforce that, okay, when you create a record, right, on this object, it will enforce, Salesforce will enforce that you must enter this field value. Okay, cool, next. And visible, so it means that depending upon the user, right, these are field secure profile, right? And so which one, if you wanted to make it visible, by default I keep it yes to all, right? I don't have to worry about it for now. And then I do save, right? Okay, there's already a name called beer date, right? See, that's a validation error. I intentionally did that, reason being, it has to be unique, first of all, right? You can't choose a API name which is not unique in the same object, right? So you can't have the same, API names. Okay, so that's fine. See, because there's already a beer date, right? So when you put, when you create a beer, now, that doesn't make sense. Okay. I thought there was a beer there. Okay, all right. That's a bit strange. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Never mind. Right. So what happened is that I did beer day, right? And so when I did a beer date, it named it as underscore, right? That means it's a custom object, right? It's a custom field. So okay, now what we're gonna do, let's create another one. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna create a drop down, right? So we need to have a drop down that's called a beer type, right? So what we're gonna do, so to have a drop down, it often associated with a pick list, right? And we don't want to have a multiple pick list. Multiple pick list is like you can select multiple items, right? So we do not want to select the multiple items here. Okay, so we're gonna click next. We're gonna to type of beer. Okay, so use global pick list. Global pick list is something if you wanted to reuse your pick list in a different object, different fields of a different object, you can use global pick list. But we're not gonna use global pick list. We're gonna use only for this for now, just to keep it simple, right? Okay, So let's start with the beer name, right? Beer type, lager. Okay, if I spell it wrong, my apologies. I can't spell, man. I just Pilsner. I suck in spelling big time. Oh yeah, Pilate, right. That's even worse. Okay, red ale, amber ale, right? Stout, porter, right? I think that's pretty much the style of liquor. Stouts can have milk stout and kind of stuff like chocolate stout or whatever stout, right? Porter, yeah, and red ale. Pacific ale you can add, you know, I mean, it's just, yeah, I think that's pretty much we covered most of the styles. If you're a beer lover like me, and if I, by mistake, if I missed something, my apologies, right? So I'm gonna make it visible to all. I'm gonna make it next, and I'm gonna save. Right, okay, so we have added type of beer, and I just gonna go edit, right? And then always require, right, because it's mandatory, we can't save this record without selecting the beer type, which is very important. So sometimes you tend to miss when you create a field, so you can always come here under type of beers and you can edit it, and you can, you know, do this stuff here, right? And you can do whatever you want it to do. Okay, so nice and easy, right? So that's, and restrict the pick list to the value defined, right? So what this will happen is, otherwise you will muck around, you will start to add the information, right? We don't want it. We want whatever the pick list is there, it should remain the same. I don't want someone to add anything else, right? So it's not good for data consistency. So, okay, so cancel it. Right, now, we've added beer date, and now we want the number of quantity, right? So, we can just put number of quantity, so it should be, okay, so it should be integer, right? So let's see if we got something. Right, so we're gonna use number here, right? And next, and we say quantity, right? And just field name, it automatically populate. I don't care about the decimal because I'm not doing, you know, you can't say, right? I have today I've been drinking. So someone will come to and say and ask, oh, okay, can you tell me the number of pints you had? You can't say, right? 10.2 pints. And a person like, what the heck are you talking about, man? 10.2 pints? It's like, what is it? Right, so we gotta keep it as a whole number, right? We're not gonna add any decimals to it. So, okay, required, absolutely, right? Okay, cool, next. I'm gonna go next. I'm gonna save. Okay, now we've added type of beer, and we have added quantity, and we have added date. Now we need a link to a contact. Now, contact is a default, it's a standard object, right? It's been shipped out of box by Salesforce, right? Contact could be, you know, your customer name. So if you're someone who used Salesforce or who no idea about Salesforce, account is like a name of a company, right? So let's say I'm a brewing company, right? Wilson Breweries, right? And then I might have clients, right? Clients like, say, Auckland Pub. So Auckland Pub will be an account, will be entered into Salesforce as an account record, right? So the Auckland Pub will be an account name, and the people associated with the account, you know, Auckland Pub, right? Let's say David, Mark, you know, Peterson, Jameson, whatever, right? They will all be considered as a contact associated with that account. Nice and easy, right? So the contact, and there are two kinds of relationship we want to talk about. One is the master detail relationship to general, and one is the lookup, right? So lookup is something, right? Say what happens is, I'll show you what happens in a second. So master detail relationship is very simple, right? I'm the master, and then I have associates working under me, right? If the master is dead, all the associates will die. Simple as that, right? So, and the lookup is like, if the masters may or may not have associates, so if the master dies, associate can survive by itself. Simple as that, right? Okay, so I'm not talking in terms of mafia terminology, so I'm just saying. um, so what happens is, so we're gonna do, so think about the scenario, right? Now what we wanted to pick up an employee, right? Employees are contacts in this case, right? Employees working for me. So when I select a Beer Friday, when I wanted to create an entry on Beer Friday, I obviously wanted to know who been drinking what beer, right? So the employee or contact has to be mandatory option, right? When it has to be mandatory option, and right, so what I can do, I can actually make it as a master detail relationship, right? Or I can make it as a lookup relationship. Means sometimes I do not want any what's that called the Beer Friday to have any employees. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make it as a master detail relationship, right? So when I do a master, right, okay. So related to, you can see you have a contact here, hopefully. So I hope you know how to do this custom object. I mean, normally I would say that it's always good to have a admin certificate as a prerequisite, but I don't know why they don't consider it as a prerequisite. In my opinion, it should be, because admin will teach you a lot of things. Then you don't have to teach. Then you can always assume, right? That's why the Trailhead usually didn't cover anything about what the Salesforce is about. Give me history about Salesforce. Why do you use it? I gave you a story because I thought some of you might be new, so it will be okay. So click on next, and click on next, and click on next, and save. Right? Okay. So we have done this. Fantastic, right? Nice and easy. So we have beer date and type of beer. Okay, now I wanted to access this object, right? How do you do that? It's very simple. You go to here, right? And I can look at, what's that called? Beer Friday. Here you go. So if you wanted to look for any object, right? You can go to this tic-tac-toe icon and look for Beer Friday, right? And so right now I have no information, so these are recently viewed, all, right? And so I can do new, right? And I can be a date. So it's Friday today. Type of beer, I can say Pilsner. Quantity, you can put 10. Oh no, 10 is too much, man. Just contact, right? So this is where I don't have any contact, so I'm gonna put some random value here and I'll test, right? So the think about it, right? Now so okay, so let me go back. Okay, I'm not going to do anything here, right? And close this one, close all, and let's go back to here. Not this one. Go back to setup here. So the way to go back to setup, I hope everyone knows, there's a gear cog icon here. Takes you to setup here, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go to I wanted to show you something. So Beer Friday. Go here and go to fields. Let's say, which one is it? Which one do we do? Master detail, right? Okay, edit. Right, and change field type. You can change the field type from here, right? If you change your mind, so I'm gonna make it a lookup. Right, okay, so I'll tell you what happens, right? Hopefully I can do that lookup here. Okay, so now my field is a lookup, right? Now, I'll tell you what happens here. Will it works or will it not works? Okay, so there you go. See, contact is not mandatory here, right? I can save an information without making, let's say, be a date. I'm gonna show you. So, alright, I'm gonna choose null test, right? And I'm gonna save it. It lets you say, okay, sorry. I say decide. Okay, you saved it, and you deleted the contact. let you save the contact, right? No problem. But is that what you really want? I believe, I hope not, because, I wanted to know, which employees of mine drinking what kind of beers on Friday afternoon, right? That's the whole purpose of this entire customization is about. So it defeats the purpose, the first place. Okay, right now, so let's go back and go and change this field type to master detail, right? So I hope it's clear for you what I'm trying to do, right? I'm trying to explain in a very simple way. So Beer Friday, I'm gonna do, sorry, field relationship, contact, right? You're gonna do edit, and then we're gonna do change field type, right? And then gonna do master, next, save. Fantastic, right? Now let's go back to the Beer Friday again, and let's see new. Let's say beer date. Okay, type of beer, Pilsner, and quantity, whatever. Oh, sorry, not that. Sorry, that's. Let's say the person decides to add 2. Now, if I do save, it complains, right? That's exactly what I wanted. Okay, let's add new. Let's add. Okay, so let's create this one. Okay, new. Okay. Pilsner quantity 1. Okay, null test. Okay, so we've added 1, right? Okay, now what we're gonna do, let's add contact here. I don't have a decent contact here, so so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna add 2 contact here. So I'm gonna do David. Okay, come on, Muller. All right, okay. Then we're gonna do. All right, that's good. Let's add one more. Mark. Okay, Muller. You can put whatever name you want. I'm just saying. Okay, and right. Okay, that's a 2 is enough, right? All right, let's add new, and let's add beer date Friday. Type of beer is a lager. As I say, someone decides to do 5, and this is a mark. Okay. Oh, come on. Muller. Okay, Mark Muller. Right. Oh, come on, man, what's happening? Oh, for some reason it's just acting weird today. Okay, 2. Right, hopefully it works. Right, okay, so now I'm gonna add 2 information here for now. That's fine. Okay, now that's pretty much, I talked about the setup on our work. You can see that. We talked about creating a custom object and, adding a field, energy, records, right? That's pretty nice. Cool. So this is done, right? Please make sure that you do the hands-on challenge. It's very important. Practice that to you. It's very important. So now you talk about Lightning app, and we're going to talk about Lightning app manager and kind of stuff, right? Okay. Right. So let's go back here and go to setup. Now, what you need to do, I want to create this in the form of an app. App, as I said, collection of an object. You can have account, you can have, like what I said, let's say go here and type sales, right? Now this sales, right? This sales is an app. Right? When I talk sales is an app, it's a collection of opportunity, leads, task, and the pages associated with it, right? And then you can go more. and you can see Beer Friday. You remember when I talked about why I'm talking about, say, different kind of apps when I create a Beer Friday? So you see it's included in this app as well. You can exclude, right, when you create a custom object, which app you wanted to exclude, right? So this is one of the things. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna create something similar, but with two objects, contact and the Beer Friday, right? And this will give you more hands-on how to create a Lightning app without using a code, which is nice and easy. Okay, so we're gonna close this one, right? I'm gonna go back to the setup again. We're going to Gearcog, and I'm gonna go to App Manager because I don't know where it is located. So I'm gonna type App Manager. We'll take you here. Now you're gonna take about, there are two things here now: new Lightning app and new connected apps. So we're gonna do new Lightning app. New connected apps is handy, right? If you wanted to expose your org, right, APIs to a third party, you need to use create a connected apps. What I mean by that is like Salesforce offers you out-of-box APIs for accounts, for contacts, even for the objects you create, right? So if you wanted to give your org API access to a third party who wanted to do integration, right? Which is a very important component, Salesforce, right? Because you might integrate with Oracle, you might integrate with SAP, you might integrate with Jira, you might integrate with whatever, right? Just an example I'm saying. So if they wanted to push the data, right, or handshake between your org and their system, you need to provide probably, if they are pushing the data or consuming the data from your org, from their end, you need to give them the access key, credentials. So that's why the new connected apps comes in picture, right? I've talked about it in one of the lectures where how to create and do an inbound API using OAuth. So check it out. I'll put a link below for information if you're interested, right? Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna create a Lightning app. So we're gonna do this new Lightning app here. Okay, so you're gonna put app name. So let's say Beer Friday. Okay, and developer name. This is an API name in general. So you can put an image if you want. You can choose the color if you want. So you can choose this one you want. Okay, description. This is an app for Beer Friday, right? Okay, org theme if you want. I'm not gonna use it. App launcher preview if you wanted to. This is how the app launcher preview will look like. Gonna go next, right? Now, so since Lightning is designed for a mobile and desktop, so you can use the mobile and phone, which is the default option, which is preferred as well. And you can choose the standard navigation. I'm not gonna worry about it, right? And I'm not gonna disable anything here. So, okay, I'm gonna do next, and I'm gonna do next. Okay, now these are the available items. Which one you want? So I'm gonna do Beer Friday, right? I'm gonna move it here, and these available items in the sense the available objects, right, can be standard and custom objects. I'm gonna do contact as well, so I want contacts, right? That's all I want. Next, so which profiles you want it to be accessible? Since I logged in as a admin, so you obviously choose sysadmin. But you can put whatever you want. I'm gonna put sysadmin clone as well, and all the sysadmin one, right? It's up to you which profile should have an access to app. Let's say you create an app for the finance team, right? Only the people included in a finance profile should have access to it. Something like that, right? Cool. Save and finish. Okay, nice. So you can look for your app here under the list. So someone must be there somewhere. You see the Beer Friday here. You can edit it if you want, and when you edit it, you can see all this option here. You can you can change it whatever you want it to do, right? So that's nice and easy. Okay, now how do I access it, right? It's the same. Go here, and just gonna to Beer Friday. You see this is an app. Open here. There you are, right? So you can see your Beer Friday and the contacts, right? Nice and easy. Very exciting thing, right? So you can see the recent viewed, or I can view all. So right, and then you can see the contact. You can do new contact. You can do new here as well, right? It's nice and easy. So my app comprises of two objects, and and yeah, and the pages associated with it. So that's pretty much we talked about it here. Create Lightning app, right? And so you can answer the questions if you wanted to do when you're doing the Trailhead, and create a customized list view. So now list views, right? Now I'm not happy with this one, right? What does 2, what does 3 means, right? It doesn't make any sense to me. Doesn't make any sense to you? I hope not. If someone looks at you, there was a, what is it, right? It doesn't make any sense. So let's create a new list view, right? So go here, new, okay? Oh, sorry, not here. Okay, so list view control, just gonna do new. Okay, so you can name whatever you want, which makes sense to you. My beer Friday. You can choose, this is API name, which is very important. Only you can see it or share this with all. For now, I just wanted to, for my own purpose, right? I probably don't want to share it. Okay, now I don't want the filters here, right? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna add select fields to display here, right? So what I want, beer Friday name, I don't want that. You can add it, but I'm more interested into contact, right? I can move the contact here, and I can move here. I want quantity, right? And I want the type of beer, right? And then what I want is that I want the quantity to move down, so I can move it down. So you see this arrow, and I can save it. Right, voila. You see, it looks nice and easy, right? Okay, now you can also add filter, right? If you wanted to say beer date, greater than, or not the beer date, right? It's not okay. If to say beer name, just for the sake of it, right? Greater than 2. Save. You see, only 1 because you have added filter, right? Because you said I want everything that's greater than 2. So I will remove it, right? So I will save it, right? So it gives you a little bit nice impression here, right? And you can go to contact from here. It takes you contact from here, and it takes you different stuff, right? And it's very very handy at the same time, right? Now you can actually do a Kanban view if you wanted to have a Kanban view. Summarize by, which is one I wanted to. Unfortunately, doesn't have much. Summarize by quantity, type of beer. Okay, let's say it doesn't give much good impression, but you can do Kanban view. Kanban view is very nice. I mean, I like the Kanban view. You can, if someone decides to, let's say you did a mistake, right? And they decided that Mark Muller was not actually drinking lager; he was drinking ale. And so, oopsie. All right, that's fine. Not a problem. You can go here. Sorry. All right, hang on a second. Sometimes you can muck around. Right. Okay. So you go here and drag this boy here. Right. And there you are. It's Mark Muller is drinking ale. Okay. Now you go here. Now go 3. You see he's drinking ale. Nice and easy, right? So I like the Kanban view, right? This is my favorite view, right? So you can also, if let's go back to, you can also create a chart if you want. So you can do show chart. So new chart you can do. Chart names beer. Aggregate fields. You can do aggregate on. I can do that aggregate on type of beer, right? And aggregate type, yeah, it's account is fine. Grouping field, yeah, group by is fine. Right, so you can see the chart creator here. But if you're someone not interested in the chart, you can make it as a donut chart, right? And yeah, you can do a lot of stuff here, right? And then it's pretty handy. And vertical bar chart, you can do that here as well. So you can do a lot of stuff here, right? I mean, it's just if you're right, and So group by, okay, I know what I'm going to do. Group by type of beer. Sorry. Alright, okay, aggregate field. No, that's fine, group by date. How about group by contact? Alright, okay, so this makes sense. Whatever makes sense to you. So, group by contact, so you can see different contacts. You can make a chart based on whatever the business requirement. You know what I'm trying to do. So I just wanted to give you a concept just to make you understand how it works. So you can do Kanban View if you're interested. You can customize the list view, right? And you can also do the chart. It's very nice and easy. It's simple. I prefer the Kanban View because it's very handy. You can drag and drop the stuff here, right? Pretty easy. Yeah, so I guess that, hang on, let's go back. Customize list view, that's pretty much done. Okay, so I think we talked about the list view, right? We talked about the fields, chart we did, all right? So I hope you guys do the hands-on challenge, right? It's pretty important, right? Since, I'm doing it different objects just to, give you an understanding, from a business point of view, what we can do. Right, so that's all I wanted to talk about today, right? Because it's enough, it's Friday, and so I'm gonna go have some beer, right? I'm tired. I think we've been going on for ages, so I don't want it to overwhelm you guys, so please practice. I'm gonna make another video probably the after tomorrow, right? So that's all I wanted to talk today. I hope you got some value out of today's session. Greetings and adios from New Zealand. Bye-bye and take care.